Hey everyone, welcome back to Spooky Season 2024. And today we're going to be talking about 2016's Shin Godzilla. Now, this movie gets straight to the point. It establishes its plot like within seconds. Like, boom, Godzilla is here, let's go. Which is a good thing because this movie is kind of dense, especially with like characters. This film is a satire of bureaucracy. I mean, one of the best scenes in the movie is a bunch of people having a meeting to move that meeting to a different room. This movie is exciting, it's dark, it's tense, it's cruel, and on top of all that, it's pretty goddamn funny. And I'm not talking about that Joss Whedon, every single line of dialogue is some quip or something. No, the humor here is really organic and it's strong, but it's understated. The movie has a really rapid pace and quickly edits between all these drastically different types of shots. I'm talking one scene when there's like a bunch of like empty space here, and then the next scene is going to be like a bunch of faces on the screen, and then next is, this sheet of paper popping out of somewhere. It just keeps your eyes moving all over the screen, and it helps to create this sense of chaos and anxiety that is reflected by the characters on screen. I really enjoy the satirical elements of this movie. And like I knew going into it that it was going to be about bureaucracy, but I wasn't quite ready for how about bureaucracy this movie is. I like the sort of subversion of it, because a common criticism of Godzilla movies is that the human beings don't matter. So the fact that this movie spends so much time with humans, but also makes them bureaucrats who are by their nature like a little bit faceless, it's pretty clever. If you want a good indication for just how much this movie focuses on the human beings, I'm this far into this review and I haven't even mentioned Godzilla yet. Not to say that he's like missing or something. This isn't like the 2014 Gareth Edwards Godzilla. He is here and he has presence. This is one of the more interesting takes I've seen on Godzilla because we see him evolve throughout the movie. He starts off like this tadpole like tail floating around the water and then eventually reaches its giant final form. Horror movies need to be cruel, and in this movie Godzilla really like bears the brunt of that cruelty. When Godzilla makes landfall in this movie, we understand that it's because it's evolving, it's still basically like a baby. It has this sort of like lost, scared, confused look in its eye. We can't help but like pity the poor thing because it's this lost child basically who has no idea where he is and who has no idea how much like destruction it's causing. And then the worst part about it is that Godzilla, especially in this movie, is a product of human carelessness. It's a victim of human laziness and greed. And that just makes every move that it makes and everything that happens to it sting all the more. The horror here comes from the complete unfathomable power of Godzilla. I mean, sure, it's unfathomable to the human beings. It's always that way in Godzilla movies, but it's also unfathomable to Godzilla itself. It has these giant, spectacular displays of power, of immense power, but like it's done with all the grace of a baby taking its first steps. It's clumsy, and as it's doing these things, you see it like in its cold blank eyes, and it's like, whoa, what is happening right now? Especially, there is one scene in this movie, one scene that just like needs to be seen to be believed, where Godzilla really shows what it can do, and it is just like it shocks you. It frankly is shocking when it happens. When you see what it does, it's like, holy crap. Like, you truly understand just how big the stakes are once this thing like comes to fruition. And Godzilla is just like literally frozen there, it like unable to like really understand what it just did. It's so interesting in contrast to like what Gareth Edwards did in 2014, where both films take this humanistic point of view, right? And whereas Gareth Edwards is totally like a tease throughout the entire movie and is all about like the visual perspective at ground level, this is much more like humanistic in sort of like the philosophical approach. This is a movie about government, about how people would realistically deal with this sort of problem. And because of that, it doesn't need to like hide him away. Godzilla gets to like really shine here. And all of this like culminates in this one final, just enigmatic shot that is, it's so like, and you know, this is why Shin Godzilla to me counts as a horror movie, right? Like horror should be cruel, got it, but the good horror, the greatest horror, is cruel and it's unknowable. It can be understood in a way that it works within like a plot, but like real good true horror cannot be understood. And the final shot of this movie is pure horror in the sense that like it just confronts you with this last thing, and it borderline makes no sense, you know, but it's thought provoking and it's pushing you in an undeniably sort of dark realm. It really sticks with you, and I don't want to share what I think about it here, but if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. I definitely want to hear what you think that final shot means, or anything about like this whole movie, because unfortunately this is a hard film to watch, hard film to get your hands on. I had to like order mine off eBay after months, like going to every single used DVD store or whatever, and like hoping that it's there, and it just never was. You gotta see it, and if my video inspires you to do so, please let me know in the comments and let me know what you think of the movie. And that's gonna be all for today. Make sure to hit like if you like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more like them. Make sure you hit that bell as well, or whatever Anthony Fantano says. I've been Ed. You've been awesome. Till next time.